The Karathi delegation stood in perfect formation on the landing platform of Station Kepler 9, their silver fur gleaming under the harsh fluorescent lights. They were a pack species, renowned across the galaxy for their coordination, their unity, their strength in numbers. Captain Mira Dax watched them through the viewport of her cargo hauler, the Wildcard, as they prepared to depart. And there, at the edge of the platform, sat Sulky. The cub was small, even for a juvenile Karathi. His fur was a duller gray than his packmates. His ears slightly asymmetrical. He sat with his tail wrapped around his legs, watching the shuttle that would carry his people away. Mira had seen that posture before, on strays in Earth's old cities, on refugees at the borders of war zones. It was the posture of someone who knew they weren't wanted. The pack leader, a massive Karathi named Vekthor, approached Sulky. Even from this distance, Mira could read the body language. The dismissive flick of the tail, the way Vekthor's lips pulled back, not quite a snarl but close enough. Sulky's ears flattened against his skull. "What's happening down there?" asked Chen, Mira's engineer, stepping up beside her. "Pack politics," Mira said quietly. "The ugly kind." Vekthor turned away from Sulky and boarded the shuttle without a backward glance. One by one, the other Karathi followed. Not a single one acknowledged the cub. The shuttle's engines hummed to life, lifting off in a plume of recycled atmosphere. Sulky didn't move. He just sat there, watching his entire world leave without him. "Captain?" Chen's voice was uncertain. Mira was already moving. She grabbed her jacket from the hook by the airlock and keyed open the door. "Tell the crew we're delayed departure by 1 hour." "1 hour? Captain, what are you?" But Mira was already through the airlock, her boots clanging on the metal stairs that led down to the platform. The station was cold, as most deep space installations were. Mira's breath misted in front of her as she crossed the platform. Sulky's ears swiveled toward her approach. But he didn't run. Maybe he was too tired. Maybe he'd given up. Mira had seen that too. In the eyes of those who'd been left behind once too often. She stopped a few meters away, giving the cub space. Karathi could be dangerous when cornered, even the young ones. "Hey there," she said, keeping her voice low and even. "Rough day?" Sulky's eyes, large and golden, and full of a hurt that transcended species, fixed on her. He didn't speak. The Karathi were capable of speech in most galactic tongues. But silence was answer enough. Mira crouched down, making herself smaller, less threatening. "I saw what happened. Your pack left you." The cub's tail twitched, a sign of distress in Karathi body language. "Want to know something?" Mira continued, settling into a cross-legged position on the cold metal. "Humans don't really do the pack thing, not like the Karathi anyway. We're weird. We'll adopt damn near anything if we think it needs help. Dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, injured wildlife, broken robots. Hell, I once knew a guy who adopted a sentient fungus." Sulky's ears perked up slightly. Curiosity? Maybe. Or just surprise that this strange human was still talking. "Where I come from, there's an old saying," Mira said. "One man's trash is another man's treasure." Means that just because someone doesn't see your value doesn't mean you don't have any. It just means they're too stupid to recognize it. The cub made a small sound, somewhere between a whimper and a chirp. "My ship needs a new crew member," Mira said, as if the idea had just occurred to her, though in truth, she'd decided the moment she saw Vekthor turn his back on the cub. Someone good with their hands, someone who can squeeze into tight spaces for repairs, someone who's not afraid of hard work. Sulky's ears came fully forward now, and he tilted his head. "The wildcard isn't fancy, and the work isn't glamorous. But we're loyal to each other. We don't leave people behind, and we sure as hell don't judge anyone by the circumstances of their birth." Mira stood up slowly, brushing off her pants. "So, here's my offer, kid. Your pack said you're not good enough for them. I say that's their loss and my gain. You want a place to belong? You got one. No questions asked. No judgment rendered." She extended her hand, palm up. A human gesture of peace. Of offering. For a long moment, Sulky just stared at her hand. Then, slowly, hesitantly, he reached out with his own small paw and placed it in her palm. His fur was soft, and his paw trembled slightly. "Good choice," Mira said with a grin. "Come on. Let's get you somewhere warm, get some food in you, and introduce you to the crew." Fair warning, Chen tells terrible jokes, and our pilot, Jax, snores like a broken engine. But they're good people. As they walked back toward the wild card, Sulky looked up at her with those golden eyes, and for the first time, Mira saw something other than hurt in them. She saw hope. 3 months later, the wild card was docked at a trade station in the Centauri sector when Mira got a message. It was from Vecthor. The Karathi pack leader wanted Sulky back. Apparently, they'd reconsidered. The cub had value after all. His small size and nimble hands had been noted in reports from other traders who'd seen him working on the wild card. Vecthor spoke of honor and pack bonds, of a mistake that needed correcting. Mira read the message twice, then walked down to the engineering bay where Sulky was helping Chen install a new coolant system. The cub had grown in the past 3 months, not much in size, but in confidence. He laughed at Chen's terrible jokes now. He'd learned to play poker with Jax and could curse in 4 languages. "Sulky," Mira called out. "Got a message for you. Your old pack wants you back." The cub looked up from his work. Coolant smudged on his muzzle. For a moment, his ears flattened. Then he glanced around the engineering bay at Chen, who was watching him with concern, at the wild card's familiar bulkheads, at the home he'd built here. "What did you tell them, Captain?" Sulky asked, his voice steady. Mira smiled. "Haven't replied yet. Wanted to ask you first. It's your choice, kid. Always will be." Sulky was quiet for a moment. Then his ears came forward, and his tail flicked with something that looked an awful lot like confidence. "Tell them the cub they threw away doesn't need them anymore. I've got a pack. A better one." Mira's smile widened. "You heard the man, Chen. Let's get this coolant system finished. We've got cargo to haul, and a galaxy to explore." Roop. As she walked away, she composed a brief reply to Vecthor. "Your loss, his gain. We're keeping him." The response was pure human, blunt, unapologetic, and completely indifferent to Karathi politics. And as Sulky's laughter echoed through the engineering bay, Mira knew she'd made the right call. The galaxy was full of those who'd been cast aside. Humanity had always had a talent for gathering them up and giving them a home. It was, perhaps, the most human thing of all.